Hello, welcome back, Box101 here, and today we'll be reviewing this 2022 set, the Death Star Thingamabobber, the Trench Run. It is a diorama set, and it is a pretty nice one at that. I quite like this diorama set. Not the best, but definitely not Mos Espa Pod Race. Yeah, it comes with this ship, the X-Wing, and 3 TIE Fighters, one of which being Vader's advanced TIE Fighter. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these off the stand and I'm going to show you them on their own. And taking them off the stand, we can get a look at these normal TIE Fighters first, then we'll get on to Vader's. So, the normal TIE Fighters are built pretty simply. They have this very nice printed cockpit piece, one of the few printed pieces in this set, but all the pieces in this set are printed, so that's pretty good. And then another TIE Fighter, basically the same build, but instead of these 1x1 plates, they have 1x1 plates with the clip on the side to hold 2 lightsaber blades representing the TIE Fighter's cannons, obviously. Now, this set comes with 4 of these. I don't know where the other 2 went. There's also supposed to be 2 with Vader's TIE Fighter. I'm going to put those on there so you can see what that would look like. But, yeah. I don't know where the other 2 went. But yeah, these 2 TIE Fighters, they look great. They look like TIE Fighters. And I think they, yeah, they're just great builds for simplistic. And that is what Vader's TIE Fighter, or Vader's TIE Advanced, looks like with the lightsaber blades on it. And it looks pretty good. It looks like it does in the movie. And, of course, he has those very interesting shaped wings. I actually haven't had a Darth Vader what is it called? Darth Vader's TIE Advanced Mock. I should have kept it up. I just took it apart like 2 days ago. But, yeah. I quite like this build. It looks very much like how it should for a small scale. And it uses, of course, that cockpit piece once again. Let's move on to the X-Wing. And the X-Wing, again, pretty simple build. Feels like something you'd get in a microfighter, honestly, but it's actually quite a bit smaller than the Luke's X-Wing that you do get in the microfighter from, I believe, 2023 or 2024. And it has one exclusive printed piece, being that R2-D2 up there. Because it's one of these tiles, you do get an extra in this set, just like you get one of the extra cockpit pieces for the TIE, so that's pretty good. It has these pieces, which I forget what they're called. They're like weather vanes. They're used in Harry Potter a lot. And, or they're also used as ski poles. They're pretty common piece nowadays, but they're still pretty cool. It does use some interesting pieces for the gems, using pink gems on the back, and you can move these. You can't put them out of attack position, so it's always in attack position, just like the Pose X-Wing polybag that they had a while ago back in 2016. I had a Wednesday quick review on that, but yeah, pretty simple X-Wing build. I think it's not too bad. I think it should be able to go into that normal position, but I think they should have maybe extended the wings out, because with the body being a whole brick, like a 2x2 brick, it does look a bit stubby. Especially, I think they should have extended this cockpit area out one and extended this out one. So, yeah. That's just a personal thing. You may think it looks fine, and it does from some angles like this, but if you look on it dead on, it looks a bit goofy. But, yeah, that's just a personal opinion, so still, looks pretty good. I quite like the R2-D2 at the very least. Let's get on to the actual diorama. And getting onto the diorama, you can see that this thing is a greebled mess in a good way. And I actually really like this look. It looks like something you'd see in like a sci-fi futuristic dystopian world, which is kind of the whole thing about Star Wars. So, yeah. It does have this plaque on the front, which is "The Force is strong" with this one, as well as the Star Wars logo. Of course, the quote being by Darth Vader. And then it has these 3 pegs for the TIE Fighters, and then the one for Luke's X-Wing. I'll show you that at the end, again, once I've looked at this, but it does have one of these Death Star turrets. These can move individually. They do kind of fall off pretty easily since they are on a jumper, but that also allows them to move. So, win-lose situation, you know. Gotta cut some things to make up for some other things. But also, I won't talk about everything, but I will say some cool part usages, such as a minifigure head here, and then just some interesting things, like the top of these hinge pieces is used a lot. There's this piece, which is kind of interesting, as well as this like handle piece, which is also used. But yeah, I really like this. I think it's a very nice looking diorama display, even if it is extremely light bluish gray and dark bluish gray intensive. But yeah, it takes a while to build, as you may guess. I'm going to put the X-Wing and the TIE Fighters on it, and you can see how that looks. And that is again what it looks like with the TIE Fighters and X-Wing on there, and it looks pretty good. It looks like the scene from the movie. It kind of looks like that old, I forget what year, like 2000, maybe 1999 set with the 3 TIE Fighters. That is probably one of the best value old sets that they had, with Darth Vader's TIE Advanced, and I think they either had two TIE Fighters and maybe a TIE Bomber. I forget if it had 3 or 4 TIE Fighters in that set, honestly, but that was a cool set. I wish I could find that set sometime. But yeah, this is an extremely good diorama to me. I don't know why, I quite like it. It's extremely gray. If you had to have one thing you don't like about it, it's gray, but also the Death Star is gray, so it makes sense. It also makes sense for them to make a diorama of this specific area, because, I mean, it's one of the main central focuses in the actual first movie, A New Hope. So, with that being said, I think this is a great set, for being a diorama, that is. I shall see you next time. Goodbye.